Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my casa, my home here in Livingston, Montana. Okay, today is the 27th of February of 2021, and I've got one more story in me. I've told two of them today, probably got the dates all mixed up like I always do, but I don't care. Here, I can feel a frog in my throat. Let me see if I can wash him away. Anyway, hopefully I can make this story kind of short. This is really basically a drunken hunting story. Okay, now this happened, let me think, I didn't do my homework on this one. This happened when I lived down in southern Idaho, when I was first getting my family going, after I married my wife. Excuse me. Now I'm trying to think I moved back to Montana here in 1990, so this would have happened, I know doggone well, in the 80s, in the mid-80s, 85, 86, right along in there for sure. 87, But one night I was sitting around my house drinking beer, and one of my brother-in-laws was visiting me, or whatever have you, or yakking with me, drinking booze with me, all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember if it was my idea or was his idea or what the deal was, but it was in the middle of hunting season or the beginning of hunting season. And so me being the genius that I am, we decided we wanted to go hunting. Now this is one thing you don't do. You don't get all tanked up in the middle of the night and go hunting. That's the reason why I'm so animated about some of the stories I tell, because I've been there. But anyway, this particular brother-in-law of mine, naturally he was married to my sister and everything, but I'm not going to say his name because some of these stories I tell about people, they're still alive and whatnot have you, and I never know who watches this YouTube channel of mine, and so therefore I don't like to incriminate people with my weird little stories, even though I try to just be funny, and it's all innocent stuff, really, when you get right down to it. So this particular place, it was I want to say it was probably about a 60-mile drive, I'm thinking, to get to this hunting grounds, and it was somewhere that this brother-in-law of mine had never been. I'd never taken him there. It was actually a place that my brother and I had discovered, and like I say, this whole mess took place down in southern Idaho, and I'm not going to explain where in the world we were, because here I'd be here for a month of Sundays, Let me just put it this way. That hunting area was very near a place called American Falls, Idaho. Okay. Well, anyway, we get back up in this country. It was actually over in an area called Rocklin, for any of you people that know southern Idaho. Okay, the name of the area was Rocklin. And believe you me, there were some grain farms out there that you couldn't believe. And those big old bucks used to come down out of the mountains there, and they'd feed on that grain, and I knew all about it, So I'd sneak up in there and bang me a, big old set of horns once in a while, Well, a buck, harvest a buck. Because back in them days, that's all you could harvest, does were off limit and whatnot have you. So anyway, we get all excited, get our hunting clothes, get our rifles, get our bullets, hunting knives, throw a couple sleeping bags in, a little bit of, camping stuff, because we'd really only planned to stay one, maybe 2 nights, and all that. Let me just put it to you this way, because alcohol was involved and we were stupid, we were ill-prepared, because that's the way it goes with this stuff. Especially that smart juice, that's the way it used to go with me anyway. So we get all this stuff loaded up in my brother-in-law's pickup, We decided to take his pickup because I do believe he had a lot nicer of a rig than I did. fact, I know he did. So we go over to this Rocklin area, and it's in the middle of the night. I am not kidding you. And by the time we get over there, it's about midnight. Midnight. Now a kid should be in bed sleeping and dreaming away and getting all healthy and ready for the next day's hunt. But we come sliding into that area all drunked up, and all this other kind of stuff. So I pile out of, my brother-in-law's pickup and everything. He goes, well, he said, what are you going to do there, Jim? He says, how are we going to sleep and stuff like that? I says, well, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm just going to, I said, I'm going to build me a little fire here. I rounded me up. That wasn't a very heavily wooded area at all that we were at. There was a lot of sagebrush around and whatnot, Abby, and I told him, I says, I'm going to build me a little fire out of sagebrush and just roll my old sleeping bag out here and get a few hours of sleep and then go hunting. And he goes, I think I'm just going to sleep in the pickup, and so he just gets in his pickup, my brother-in-law does, and yeah, you guys ever try to sleep in a pickup? It don't work. Come on, this is a fool's nightmare. Just, you're sitting there like that, pretending like you're sleeping. You can't get comfortable that way, because that's what I told him. And so I'm sleeping along. I get me a couple hours of sleep or whatever have you, and I woke up, because I smelled something burning. And I looked, I kind of, looked over to the side of me like this and turned over like this. And that little fire that I built, somehow or the other, there were some roots that had caught on fire, sagebrush or whatever have you. And that fire had worked itself underneath my sleeping bag and set my sleeping bag on fire. It's a true story, man. And I jump out of there and I'm shaking this thing, and fire is flying everywhere and sparks and all this other stuff. And all that did is just made my sleeping bag go poof all the more, You want to talk about burning down the house? That's exactly what I was doing, man. And I'm out there hopping around in my socks and making all kinds of noise. And my brother-in-law goes, what's the matter there, Jim? And I go, my sleeping bag's on fire. So he gets out there and I don't know, I think he grabbed some water or something. I don't know, man. Maybe probably, no one else, probably a half-empty beer or whatever have you. But by the time that that sleeping bag was smoldering so bad and it was so screwed up and everything, basically all we could do is just throw it out. Just throw it out somewhere and just kind of let it burn up, because there was no saving it. And when it was all done and said, I put a little string out here like this. This is a USB stick, but all that was left was a string like this. One of them strings that you tie your sleeping bag up together. That was all that was left, was just a string, And by the time the first light got around, I'm sitting around there, I'm hungover, I'm sick. I told my brother-in-law of mine, I said, the sad part of this is I said, that sleeping bag belonged to my granddad. I said, I burned up my granddad's sleeping bag. So anyway, man, I get all my hunting gear on, the way I go. I tell my, brother-in-law, where to go or what to look for and whatnot have you. Anyway, I decided to go way up high in this particular area I was at. And I'm hungover, I'm telling you, man, I'm hungover like, 17 smelly cowboys. You understand what I mean? Sure you do. Anyway, I get about halfway up that mountain, and boy, I tell you, I get in the prayer position. I said prayer position. And I said, good Lord, I said, God, if you get me out of this mess, I promise I'll never drink again. How many of you have done that? Don't lie, because I lied right there. That didn't stop me from drinking, and all that stuff. But I'll tell you one thing, I was one sick Jose, and I was real humble by the time I got off of that mountain. You know what I'm talking about? Sure you do. So there you are. That's the end of my story, you know. I smelled like a burned up sleeping bag. I had a hangover. I burned up a real nice sleeping bag, and I never got jack nor shit as far as big game goes. Okay, that's the end of my stupid story. I hope you enjoyed yourself laughing at me or whatever I do here. We shall see you on down the trail, and adios, my friends. Take care of yourselves. Okay.